An increasing number of young people are turning to entrepreneurship as a possible way of escaping unemployment, while for some it is simply a way of turning passion into profit. Joel Amawe is the founder of hostelsvilla.com, and he joins us to share his journey and challenges as a startup.
Joel, welcome to Tech Trends.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about your journey into becoming a startup.
Okay, well, growing up, I actually did not have access to the internet. I think it all started as at 2011 when I stumbled on the web. Of course, so I had a small phone then. So I knew I had to learn how to use the internet and not just browse, but then I started thinking about how to do what I see on the internet. And so I started learning how to code. And so fast forward to 2012, I decided to set up a small agency. So we're helping a couple of clients to build websites. And then afterwards, we had issues here and there, clients not coming up, and then even when they do, they bring me just small cash because they feel it's just a small studio there. So while I was actually battling with that, I felt there was need for me to take up something I was doing online. And what was that? The community where I grew up happened to have a polytechnic, and which I attended as well. So in the polytechnic, students will always come around, and then most times they don't get accommodation on campus. And so they will walk around and looking for someone to help them get somewhere to stay. And so in a bid to do that, most of them get defrauded by fake agents. And so I was actually doing this agency thing too. So I will help students get houses just like that. I even helped in connecting students together to stay in the same place until I felt there was need for this thing to go online. So I did a little bit of survey. I went around some schools and I saw that it was not just a problem in my community, but a problem that was across Nigeria, even Africa as a whole.
So you taught yourself how to code?
Yeah, I did.
And since then you've not gone back to get a formal training about coding?
No. I actually learned how to code. In fact, if I can remember, I started learning how to code with a small phone they call I can remember ITEL 2690. Very small China phone then.
So what did you study in school?
I studied computer science, but I actually started coding long before I went to school.
Okay, tell us a bit about your startup.
Okay, yeah, Hostels Villa, we are actually the go-to guys for students looking for off-campus accommodations. So students who are faced with the debt of not getting accommodation on campus, they come around and then they use our platform to get hostels. We also have a roommate matching feature that also helps them to get roommates as well.
So have you looked at all the security challenges around this kind of business?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that was a big issue when we went around to meet property owners to sign up their hostels on our platform. I can remember actually pitching to an 80-something-year-old woman on why she should allow us put up her hostel. And then she was skeptical. She was like, she wouldn't want any student to just come around and stay. She wanted to do some background checks. She wanted to ensure that the student is actually a student of the school. So we went back and we felt like, okay, fine. So all we need to do is to ensure that when a student is checking into a hostel, before he actually books for the hostel, we ask for information like the matric number of the student and some other information that has to do with the educational information about the student. And so we feed that to the landlord.
What if the student lies to you?
We also are looking at also trying to verify from the school. So we could verify a matric number, which of course will make the process quite long. But then on the long run, it ensures that everybody is happy.
But looking at this, your business, do you think there's a lot of human interaction in this business? Because the reason why I asked that is the more you have human interaction, then the more difficult it is for you to break even as a startup.
Yeah, that's right. So we're trying to look at how a lot of things could be done without, a physical meetup. Before now, we were doing more of human interaction. So you come to the platform, you see a very good hostel, a field rep or a hostel owner and agent is informed, and then it takes you there, you check the place, it's fine, you pay. But then we felt like it was better if all of that could be replaced with just some few processes online. So what we're doing right now is you go to the platform and then you check the hostel. So we're providing as much information as possible about the hostel. So from there you could make decisions as to stay or not to stay. And so you make some payments. And so when you get there, you could check in and you make the remaining payments, or we could show you another one, like so.
So share with us some of your challenges.
Okay, first was the fact that property owners were skeptical of using the platform. The 80-something-year-old woman I mentioned earlier actually had a very tough one that day. I mean, she was like, "Are you sure you guys are not scammers? I mean, are you not going to sell my house? I mean, look at you. See how lanky you are. Have you even eaten since morning?" You know, so it was really a very tough one that day. But so that has been one challenge, but it has been actually going off gradually. So we've even got referrals from other landlords, from other schools. Say, I heard you do hostel thing. Can you put up my platform? So that has been a challenge. Another one is getting the right team, getting the right people. You know, it's a very difficult one. We actually practically move from one place to another. In fact, myself, I move from one place to another, taking photographs, meeting hostel owners, and all of that. So that has been one challenge, getting the right people to work. You know, and then one of the challenges that has been very big, that has really made us not really go so far, has been money, cash.
Funding.
Yeah, funding has been a very big.
But are you sure funding is a problem?
Well, yes, it is. It is because there are a lot of things that we would have really loved to do before now that we couldn't really do because of the fact that there's no much availability of funds.
Let's talk about your scaling. Now, one of the challenges that might pop up is that if you don't scale on time, then it's possible that somebody who has a deeper pocket can come into your space. What are you doing about that?
Yeah, so right now we're actually revamping our platform. So we are also moving to more other schools. When we started, we were just in one school, which is a school in my community. But now we're in over about 7 schools, and we should be getting up to even as much as 20 schools by the end of July. So we're moving very fast. We're also trying to see how we could get partners, we could partner with schools and all of that.
How many students have used your platform so far?
So far, we've been able to facilitate about 250 bookings.
And it's been paid for?
Yeah, sure, of course.
So tell me, if you were to advise young Nigerians watching this show now, what would you say to them, especially those who don't have a job at the moment?
Okay, so, well, I think first, starting up something shouldn't really be a means to get a job just because you want to leave the poverty level or you want to make money.
But that's a good motivation, isn't it?
But the truth is, it doesn't really come like that. At the end of the day, you discover that along the road, you see that the money you've been expecting wouldn't come. In fact, as I sit here right now, I cannot say I've made 1 naira as profit from Hostels Villa. We've not really made 1 naira like as profit. Say, this is the money we got. At the end of the day, we subtracted this and that, we got that. So if the money was just the main thing, by now I think I should have packed up and stopped the whole thing. So I think what they should look at is making the world better than the way they met it. I think that's where the money then comes from. So when you're providing a service, people are happy, you're making somebody happy, and you could pay for that happiness, then you start making money. So first, it should be solving a problem. That's a key thing. And then one thing too, I also noticed is, though money is really important, but sometimes you don't really need too much of it. Especially when you're just starting out as a first-time entrepreneur. If you have lots of money at your disposal, you end up spending the whole money and nothing happens. So sometimes just a little is even enough. And so I always tell myself that you do need a lot to do a lot. Just look at how much you have. What do you want to do? How far can this take you? Just try it out. Which is one thing that has been a problem due to the fact that where I grew up, I couldn't really find people. But at the end of the day, I realized that it was also a blessing in disguise, because right now, if I am to run another startup, I think I would do times 10 of what I'm doing right now, even with 0 naira. That's the truth, because I've learned so many things in the hard way, right? So I made so many mistakes that I shouldn't have made, right? By virtue of running the whole thing myself. So yeah, so I think this should also be a point I want to bring out for others out there. If you're running a startup or you're running something, and then you're in an environment where you couldn't really find someone to join you to do that thing, that shouldn't really be a reason why you shouldn't push forward. Like I said the other time, you do really need a lot sometimes to do a lot.
Joel, thank you for being on TechNet today.
Thank you very much.
All the best. That's it for our show today. Please follow us on social media. This edition, as well as the previous ones, can be seen on the channel's TV YouTube account or via my blog, cfatech.ng. For Tech Trends, I am Chukwuemeka Agbata.